Thank you for joining me for what I'm more or less calling my story/spoiler run through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This is your warning that from this point forward, this video and all of the videos in this series are full of spoilers and speculation for the complete story in Rebirth, so everything we're given in-game. It will be looking at ideas and elements from Remake as well as the original Final Fantasy VII, start to finish, so including beyond where we are in the story, the whole story start to finish of OG7. It will be incorporating ideas and plot elements from the books, On the Way to a Smile, The Kids Are All Right, Tale of Two Pasts. It will probably come up once or twice discussing Advent Children, the movie, and I will give you fair warning, it is such a convoluted story. And going back through it, for how many times I've watched other people play, I've watched my play, I've recorded these videos, as many times as I've gone through it, there's always new ideas and thoughts that I have while doing stuff, so you'll see little interruptions occasionally throughout the video, like this! And those are just, during the editing process, something I forgot to mention. I came in and thought of it, and so added it in after fact. So if those are annoying, sorry, but it is what it is. So I want these to generate discussion. I want to hear your thoughts, so please join me in the comments. Tell me things that maybe I missed. If you see something you missed, let me know. If you think I'm wrong about something, please. If you think I'm going off into crazy town, if you think I'm on the right track, great, let's talk about it. Maybe discussion will raise some more ideas. Anyway, without further ado, thank you for joining me. I love this game. Hopefully you do too, so let's get into it. And that awareness, that presence, crossing through the live stream from world to world. So this is not the Aerith who's responsible for that. But she may be aware of somewhat aware of what's going on.
Welcome to the village of the Gi.
Interesting that you can't zoom out here. I had wanted to see if where this was on the world map. But there is no indication of where we are now. You can't go to a different layer. You can't do anything. That's unfortunate. Because my theory that I was wondering about is up in Cosmo Canyon. When you look off to the east, there's a bit of stone out there, a little plateau or a butte or a mesa or something that is totally unlike everything around it. And so I had wondered if maybe that had some connection to either the path that we followed down or this point, the village of the Gi. And so when I got here, I kept forgetting to do it on my regular playthrough, so I was determined to do it now. And you can't. I wanted to see if we would show up on the map under that spot and say, ah, yeah, well, maybe that is literally some of the rock that's what from their world that brought them here. Maybe that's why it looks so different. And pure speculation still at this point, because we can't see where we are on the map. Of course, the other question is at the very end of this, when we run out of time, suddenly we're back where we started from without having to cross the physical distance. So it begs the question if this is real or not. And I think it is, but it's weird how this scenario ends here. So the approach through the village of the Gi is weird because the dialogue from Gi and Black, some of it overlaps with some of the combat, and so I'm going to try to avoid that as much as I can, and I'll go into where the combat is unavoidable overlapping. I will try to go to menus and pause to let the dialogue play out, and then record that, and then cut the rest of the combat out, just for brevity. Because some of these fights, honestly, are really friggin' hard. I died at least once on my original playthrough here after breezing through, versus the Gi originally with just Red and Barrett. I was like, oh, this is nothing, and then I died with my actual party members here with Cloud and everything. I was like, what the... Yeah. And I'm not the only one, so I felt good about that. Whenever I see someone else die here, I actually feel good about it. I don't know why. There's probably a German word for that, other than Schadenfreude. Okay, so we'll see what happens here, and I will try to get this done, as much done as I can, and get all the info in here. And where are we going? We're going this way.
Welcome to our domain, children of the planet.
Y'all hear that just now?
No.
Our flesh is gone, yet our spirits are condemned to linger. Outsiders such as we are unwelcome, forever denied the planet's embrace. I feel for you. Can only imagine how tough that's been.
Now that you're not currently trying to kill us, we're very sympathetic towards you.
Within these
That'll change in a few seconds when you try to kill us again.
I beseech you, lend them your ears. Long has it been since they have had an audience.
They're not bound to the planet, and so she rejects them.
Because you have to come from the life stream to return to it.
Which means these dudes can't die, right? They're invincible!
I'm not sure that's something to celebrate. Being stuck as spirits with no hope of release sounds like a fate worse than death.
As if you know anything about dying. I mean, are you even really alive?
Another stuck spirit, perhaps?
Yeah, we're not entirely sure what Kate's status is as a living entity or not. A little bit of
You and me both.
foreshadowing there, Yuffie. Yes, the Gregorian chanting going on in the background there. Alright, let's see if I can not kick off battle before dialogue starts, or if it's inevitable. Okay.
From the cycle of life.
There we go. Really?
Purgatory eternal. We shall not rest till the materia is ours. We shall not rest till the materia is ours.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, like, advance through menus just for each line of dialogue, which is kind of annoying. I really, really, really dislike the way they did this part here, in having the dialogue occur during combat, especially one of the ones, like one of the last combats here, has like some of the most important dialogue in this entire Gi section of the game, and because you're too busy fighting for your life, almost everybody I've ever seen misses it, except unless someone in their chat has already played it and points it out to them in midstream, and then they're like, hey, pay attention to this part. Here's what you just missed them say. Really obnoxious. Very poor planning on the devs' part, I think. This is another one of those rare misses on their part, I think.
It was our fate to be spurned by the planet forevermore. Thus did we resolve to forge our own path to salvation.
With materia, you mean?
We long to lay hands on the materia of peace.
Which, again, as I mentioned before, skewed perspectives here. From the Gi perspective, as we'll find out here, the black materia is the materia of peace. This is what will give them peace and save their souls, if you will, regardless of the other effects it might have.
Forsaken by the Cetra. Undone by treachery. Salvation will be ours. Salvation will be ours.
So the undone by treachery part there is really the only line so far that I find interesting. And it'll come up in a bit, but just the fact that they mentioned it here is that they're laying the groundworks for the final explanation coming up.
There is but one thing that can deliver unto us ultimate salvation, and that is materia.
So an ultimate materia? Where is it? You gotta tell me!
In the materia of peace, we shall find the end.
Calm down, Yuffie. For the love of God.
Our ultimate salvation is cessation. It is nothingness. Our wish is not to exist, but rather to no longer exist.
Ultimate salvation is nothingness? Okay.
In the purest of
Pure materia.
place our hope and faith.
Very important term. My theory is that because, and I'll get back to the pure materia in a second, they can't join the live stream when they die, so they're stuck. It begs the question: what happened? What would have happened to their spirits on their original planet? Was there a live stream of their own on where they came from? And since they're on just a hunk of whatever came from their world and was absorbed into Gaia, or whatever the exact mechanic of their arrival, they can't absorb into this live stream. And I guess there's not. My guess on this is that there's not enough of them to essentially generate their own live stream, so there's nothing to absorb them and to continue on. So one of my operating theories is, solutions, if you will, is take all the Gi totems that house their spirits, load them on a rocket, and launch them off into space. If they're away from this life stream, would that solve their problem? And they would, not being bound by another planet's spirit, would they be able to at last move on or find a place that didn't have one? Or it's like, exactly what is the solution? Because destroying Gaia, we don't necessarily know if that would actually solve their problem. If Gaia is stopping them from being at peace, then getting them away from Gaia should solve the problem. If they still can't find peace with that solution, why would destroying Gaia make any difference to them? So it's like the exact mechanics of how this works are still a little uncertain. So I don't know. I mean, there may not be a good solution for them. The Gi may just be screwed. I don't think they'll do that. I think the Devs will find some way of resolving it, probably in a final Nanaki storyline in Part 3. Because the storyline in OG just sort of stops. After you come down here, you find out the truth about Seto, you beat up on Gainatak, and you leave. That's it. There's no resolution to why this Gi are still down here, their spirits or whatnot. So I love that we're getting so much more here, but it begs that much more to resolve the situation. I think this is the one coming up, so this last combat here.
Don't know about y'all, but I got a sinking feeling. Think we probably don't want to overstay our welcome here.
It's hard to feel at ease around folks whose only desire is death.
Yeah.
And if the planet won't let them have it, well, who's to say they won't let the planet have it?
Save me!
Sure.
Which by itself is a little bit of a logical
Don't you
leap.
think someone responsible like me ought to hang on to that materia?
They're thinking
So
an
it doesn't
explanation
fall
about
into
the
the wrong
black
hands.
materia here doesn't
I think we
immediately
shouldn't get
follow
involved at all,
logically
Lassie.
necessarily.
Little late for that.
They get to the right conclusion. I don't know that the path they followed actually makes sense, though.
What do you think he wants us to do for him?
Steeped in our one desire, purest of materia no more, with pain and spite made black. Steeped in our one desire, purest of materia no more, with pain and spite made black.
Now, purest of materia. The purest color, the purest materia, arguably is clear, like Aerith's is now. And so I've been wondering lately, and this is a new thought for me, like within the last 24 hours or so, I think, if the materia that they got a materia. I forget whether it's explained exactly how they got it, whether they were granted by the planet, whether they wrested it from the planet. I forget the verb used, if anything. But they got the purest of materia, which could have been a clear materia like Aerith has. And then, because of their pain and perhaps their spite against the Cetra, we're not real certain when things soured between the Gi and the Cetra, I don't think. Was it because of this step and what they did that the Cetra said, oh, whoa, okay, no, give us that. And the Gi said, screw you, give us our black materia back. And that really just set things off between them and just hardened the animosity. Or did the Cetra say, well, we can't help you, you're kind of stuck, sucks to be you. And the Gi, already, raging and stuck as they were, just really turned antagonistic against the Cetra and possibly the planet. And so this pure materia they were working on getting then was colored with all those black emotions, quite literally. And it made me think, and I wonder a little bit about this. At the very end of the game, when Cloud got his little bauble of the clear materia and he's looking at it for a second there, and he's looking at it, and at one point when he first starts at one part of the scene, he's looking at it and it's black. Not the black materia, but the clear materia he's holding is black, with shadow, with lighting, what have you. And then he turns it, which makes it no longer black. But all of a sudden it shifts from being black to clear and whitish, but basically just clear again. At the same time, then right after that, So, I mean, that visually, I think that's one possible indicator of this. Then what happens is he takes it and he puts it down to go put it in his pocket, and immediately comes back with the black materia. I had the thought that basically that was a reveal that the clear one is actually the black one now. I don't think that's the case, though. I think that twisting is indicative that it's the fate of this clear materia may be what decides things. And it's going to be whether it's going to be from Cloud's memories and Cloud's experiences, possibly, that are what's going to fill it up in part 3. And so essentially Sephiroth's goal is to fill Cloud still with the black thoughts and turn that clear materia black. And Aerith is going to be trying to save him and bring the real Cloud, and so that his memories and thoughts and emotions that go into it are white to help support Holy. And so the fact that they got this pure materia that was made black, so it didn't start that way. They didn't get the black materia from the planet. They got this pure materia that turned black, I think was a clear materia that became the black materia. Cloud now has Aerith's pure materia, having been drained of the holy power, you know, the end of the story. That is now pure materia waiting to be filled. And that's going to be the decisive one, really. That's my theory.
Steeped in our one desire, black materia, with pain and spite made black.
And now we get our confirmation that yes, black materia, very important. Sephi wants it. But only the Sephi in Cloud's head.
Whatever that materia is, we can't let them have it.
That part's true.
No matter
So at this
how
point,
much they want it.
they don't know what it does.
Don't know how far we can let
All
this
they
go.
have is Kate's,
But for now,
what if they let the planet have it? Guesswork. Okay, now here we have one of the most important lines of dialogue in this entire section of the game in the combat, so I'll do my best to make sure it gets captured.
Passing of eons, the star we call home began to wane, until at last it was subsumed by your own. The earth shook, seas boiled, skies shattered, and time stopped. Few of my people survived the chaos and calamity. Those who did began a new life here. But to the planet, we were not welcome. Not in life, nor in death.
So yeah, the Gi are aliens. This is confirmed, and a lovely bit of lore added to this from OG. Cannot express how much I love that change. And this is straight up from Final Fantasy Spirits Within. This is beings from another planet who ended up stuck here. In this case, their star was broken up, subsumed by an interaction with Gaia and her star. Cosmically, that had to have happened a long frickin' time ago. You got to think about that. That, yeah, what happened there? I mean, a planet. If a bit of planet collided, that's not something that happened recently. And so yeah, so my theory, I mean, the bits of their planet broke up, and enough of their planet made it here to carry the spirits of the fallen, and either they survived, or literally just their spirits were drawn with the chunk of planet, and there was enough to bring them here, but not enough for them to life stream themselves, if you will. Because it sounds like they would have had a spirit of the planet on their home planet. Is that thing just floating there? Yes, it is. Okay, anyway. And so these are the confused dead spirits from the other world stuck here that they can't merge with. And if there was a way, so in Spirits Within, they essentially found the right frequency and right, way to commune and attune themselves with the spirits, that they were able to sort of change things and bring harmony and peace with the spirits, and everything was hunky-dory fine after that. They didn't get rid of them. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I forget whether they basically allowed them to rest and move on, or if they were attuned the two spirits so that they were now in sync with Gaia, so they could be absorbed and whatnot. But I mean, I know they made peace with things and everything was fine at the end, so there was some form of attunement with the spirits that happened. And I wonder if that's the out here, is finding a way to sync up the spirits of the Gi with the life stream and allow them to flow into it and join Gaia. Maybe. I mean, we don't know that it can't happen. We know that it hasn't happened, but there may be Aerith, Ultimate Aerith, is working on a solution for that. I don't know. I had another thought there. I don't remember what it was. If I remember it, I'll come back to it. Otherwise, I'm going to keep on going here. I wonder, because this place is very, rocks stuck in the ground, impact sort of thing with the stone. I'm wondering because, look at the bowls here. Is this basically Gi Pompeii? Like, these are the stone remains of actual Gi bound here. So this isn't a carving. These are the physical remains of the Gi that came here when this place crashed, and these may have been the survivors that were petrified in when they died or how they died. Because that's not a statue, or so. It sure as hell doesn't look like it. And I'm not sure why the bowls would be here if that was just a random statue of someone kneeling. You know what I mean? These have things growing out of them. These are kneeling in supplication, possibly holding an orb there. Oh, sorry guys, I didn't mean to knock over your stick. I'm curious, I didn't really pay that much attention to these statues on my first trip through. Alright, well, let's get through the final conversation with Gi and Attack here, and because I'm going to need to go to bed pretty soon here. I'm going to close this chapter out.
Those not born of the life stream can never join its
Now,
flow.
never?
One cannot
Or is there an out
return
there
to
somewhere?
that from which one did not arise.
But
And
one might be able
our
to join.
souls sought refuge here. Yet idleness brought no solace. Our days, a penance imposed by the planet for the sin of our existence.
Not really the planet's fault. It's just the way
our only wish is to be free
life stream
from this
physics
prison,
works, arguably.
to be granted true release.
I don't know that the planet has a conscious will of rejecting you. It's just literally the way it is. A shrine to oblivion. So maybe this is where they obtained the materia? Or kept it while they were working on it?
From the planet, we
Claimed,
the greatest
okay.
of materia, a most sacred treasure, and imbued it with our desire for freedom.
but
After an eternity, the materia began to stir, and thus did we rejoice, knowing that salvation was within our grasp.
okay.
We rejoiced, so convinced were we that our prayers for release had not been in vain.
Okay, we don't know yet whether it's black materia or something that might have actually helped them.
Yet the loathsome Cetra trespassed upon our lands and stole the treasure that would grant us deliverance.
So, arguably, that means that the materia was already black and capable of destroying Gaia at that point. When it was, because suddenly it was time to the Cetra to step in. So the sequence of events here is actually really interesting, I think, because we already know that the planet of the Gi was, or the star was subsumed by the star of Gaia. Now, I honestly don't know whether to take that literally, as if there were two stars with two completely separate planets circling them, and the two stars collided, and their little bitty star was subsumed by Gaia's bigger star. That's what it sounds like if you take the literal words, but, you know, word choice when it comes to astronomy sometimes gets a little wonky, and it could honestly have just been that their two planets collided, and that the Gi planet originally circled the same star as Gaia does. Either one, you know, I don't really care. It doesn't really bother me either way. The only difference really being that the collision of two stars is a much bigger event cosmically than two planets. And either way, it happened a long frickin' time ago. Because if one way or the other, their planet and Gaia ended up coming into some form of contact, whether it was just the chunks of their planet that some bits of it landed on Gaia, enough to bring the Gi along, not enough to perhaps leave a giant gaping crater like Genova's arrival did. Anyway, it was long enough ago that, you know, the planet healed over, fixed whatever the damage might have been, and it, you know, doesn't seem to have been a big deal, you know, in the life of the planet. But it happened a long friggin' time ago, which begs the question, do the Gi predate the evolution and the rise of the Cetra on Gaia? Because here he says, after an eternity, the materia began to stir. So they've been there, learned their situation, suffered for a while, you know, sought out a solution, gained the materia from the planet, or claimed it, as he said, and then, after all of that, then after an eternity, the materia began to stir. And then the loathsome Cetra did their thing. So the Gi spirits may have been around longer on Gaia than the Cetra were in existence. It's possible. Evolution takes a long friggin' time. And if the Gi planet, the chunks of it, whatever, however they got here, if that happened at an early enough stage in Gaia's formation and the evolution of life on Gaia, maybe. Concept of a life stream and life evolving, still kind of an interesting question there, which don't really want to get into now. But timetable wise, I'm not clear on when these more recent, if you will, events happened. As far as we know, obviously they got the material a long friggin' time ago. At some point it turned black, and at some point the Cetra took it away from them. Presumably, at this point, I'm assuming that the Cetra took it away after it turned black. I don't know that they would have a reason not to, so just based on the word choice and what we've been told, that would seem to make the most sense. So, but we don't know when the Cetra started talking to the Gi. We don't know if the Cetra discovered the Gi because of this materia and because of the potential threat that it posed, and they just swooped in, took it for safekeeping, and then said, oh, hey, we're the Cetra, nice to meet you, sorry we had to take your thing, let's talk. Or did they already have an established rapport and communication between the Gi and the Cetra, and the Gi hadn't mentioned this or told them about it, and the Cetra were like, okay, tell us more, and eventually, once it turned black, the Cetra kind of and figured out what the threat was and decided to just go ahead and take it. There's a whole chunk of that history that we just don't know, and I don't know that we'll ever really know. And what happened first and second and before what happened, etc. I think would be really interesting to know, but it's the kind of thing that I almost kind of doubt where we're going to get that really clarified. Maybe in part 3, by the time we resolve the Gi, maybe we'll get a little bit more detail about that, and it'll be part of maybe making peace between them, and we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. I really want more, and I hope we get that information. At the very least, maybe some Ultimania entries will clear it up at some point in the future. I'll keep my eye out for it. Okay, let's see what else he has to say here.
Therefore, we ask that you retrieve it. The Black Materia, key to our oblivion. Please. It alone can liberate us from this endless dream. The Gi cannot rest until our sacred treasure has been restored to us.
Leaving out the crucial information about exactly how it does this, and, So again, if the Gi use it, is there a different outcome than Sephiroth using it? That's question number 1. I mean, it's Black Materia, it's sort of unique and special, so there could be a different outcome based on who's doing it. Because Holy, arguably, it could do more than just send out a giant wave to get in the way of a meteor hitting the planet. That seems like a very, very specific use of one materia. So it would seem Holy is used to commune with the planet, power something massive, or do something a little more variable than just send out a shield to block a meteor, which is, as it does in OG7 at least. So possibly the Black Materia does more than just summon the meteor. It may just have that much power behind it that is something it can do, but there could also be some other route that is beneficial to the Gi. Now, presumably, either the Gi didn't think beyond their own need and the possible injury to the planet in the course of whatever their thing is, whether it involves summoning the meteor and blowing up Gaia, and thus the Cetra were kind of right to say no, or the possibility that that it could do something like summon meteor, even though that's not what it would have done for the Gi, was still enough for the Cetra to come in and say no, even though that's not what the Gi, that may not have actually been what happened had the Gi used the Black Materia. I don't know. In OG, the Black Materia summoned meteor, that's all it did, which is, why does that even exist? There's no explanation for why the Black Materia exists in the first place in OG7. It's just there, and it's capable. It is the ultimate WMD. For no reason at all. Here, at least, we have an explanation for why it exists, but it's not 100% certain that the Gi, A, had any ill intentions, or B, realized what might have been the outcome of their actions. C, there may not have been any world-ending consequences to them using it. It may have scooped up their chunk from their world that is the repository of their spirits and ejected them out to space, which might have solved their problem, might also have left a giant gaping hole in Gaia. So, a little bit of justifiable concern. We honestly don't know, because again, it seems very strange for very specific one-purpose ultimate materia like the black materia and the white materia. More so with the white materia, because if its only job is to block the meteor and black materia, then, as Era said, it really is a pointless materia 99% of the time for all of time. So, I don't know. It was just something I was thinking about, is that maybe the black materia doesn't just do the one thing. But I saw a suggestion somewhere, and I'm kind of on board with this. I think this is an okay explanation for what happened. That the Cetra took the black materia away and hid the real black materia in between worlds. And thus, the one that we get that Aerith says is a fake, Sephiroth says is a way of accessing. So yes, it is not the real black materia, but it allows access to the real one that is between worlds. And so the Cetra put the real one in between worlds to keep it away from the Gi. It's an interesting idea. You can't, at this point, I don't know that we can say no, that's not the case. The other side of the other possibility there is that the black materia has always existed between worlds as a possibility, and that the Gi crafting their pure materia that became the black materia for this world only allowed access to that one that was in between worlds. It is an outcome, it is a possibility so ultimate, so literally world ending. Then we know the life stream, the world, the whole world encompasses, or the planet encompasses all of the possible worlds that are inside of it, that are part of it. And so this black materia that would destroy Gaia, if allowed to hit, the question is, would that essentially destroy all worlds? I don't know. If you hit it with the real one, rather. So maybe one version getting kerschmacked with the meteor would destroy that world? I don't know. Or would that take care of all of them? And so the only way for Gaia to survive is for all possible worlds to be saved at some point. I don't know. I'm not sure I buy that one. Because, well, I mean, the life stream does come and help to stop Meteor in OG7. I'm honestly not sure which of those I find more likely. Anyway. I'll keep ruminating on it.
Moreover,
between now and the
in
ending.
redressing the crime of her ancestors, the Cetra may help us to let go our ancient grudge.
Or maybe finding a different outcome, maybe.
Where is it?
It is said the orb lies within a place of Cetra worship.
A place of Cetra worship? Or temple?
You know what?
I have an idea. At least, I think I do.
Forgive me, Hollow One, if I regard you with suspicion.
I do appreciate that he recognizes Kate does
Now,
not.
hold on there. I'm friend to one and all, thanks to my crystal ball.
Call him Hollow
No
One.
matter
He's
your
not,
need, I
his
have
own
the right to.
entity.
He's strange, but you can trust him. Really.
Alas, it appears we have been discovered.
Discovered by
I trust you will
the
return
live
our
stream.
materia to its rightful home.
One would assume.
Only you can end
By
our
the Cetra.
plan.
Okay, again, here we are, and now suddenly, in a second, we'll be back where we started from. The next morning.
guess we're back?
Yeah.
Solid slab of stone there. Like,
We need to get moving.
No getting back.
Right.
I'll make you proud, Dad. Just wait.
I'm just curious. So this is the wall we were at. It's facing north. We went down here. It's really that far? Holy cow. Did not feel that long following Gi and Black. Okay, and so then we sailed off, arguably, north. So we would have been... somewhere around here, probably. And we sailed that away-ish. I'm still not... I'm still kind of the opinion that rock thing that we see off to the east is where the Gi are stored, if you will. And again, look at it. So right where we are, right here on the map, directly under the frickin' torch. But it didn't show our elevation. But, I mean, we are way down, one would think. But that can't be the real sky. I'm not sure how this works. Anyway.
It's good to see you again.
Thank you, Assistant.
Allow me to escort you to fellow Bugenhagen.
Yeah.
Please, this way.
Now we have our shortcut.
Hook, line, and sinker. Those undead suckers actually think we're gonna give him back their materia.
They called it their salvation or whatever. But to me, it sounded more like something with the potential to wreak some serious havoc. Nope. No way in hell are we letting them have it.
Can't let him have it either.
Him?
Sephiroth. Did no one else sense him?
No.
You're the resident expert. If you say Sephiroth was there, I'll believe you.
Wait. So, are you saying Sephiroth's after the Black Materia too?
Probably. Better to assume he is.
Well, come on! Let's go! Can't let anyone get between me and my materia!
Want to come get on the elevator? Red? Tifa? Anybody? Thanks.
So, Kate Sith, I gotta ask, how do you know about the Cetra Temple anyway?
I wouldn't say I know about it exactly. Not directly, anyway.
What's that supposed to mean?
I just recall some document or other discussing its existence. If we can get to a Shinra terminal, I should be able to find it again.
Terminal, huh? They set any up here?
I think so. I bet old Boogie will know for sure.
Well then, let's boogie! Alright, so let's see. Now that we're back. Okay, yes, I mean, we just came up a giant elevator, still way under the ground. Alright, we got a combo with Boogie here.
Thank heavens you're alive. I feared you might have returned to the planet.
Oh, come on. We both know you didn't need to worry about me. After all, I am the son of Seto the Watcher. Forgive me. But if I recall correctly, Shinra should have set up a transmission terminal here in Cosmo Canyon, so... where is it?
Oh.
Nope.
What
Yes,
did
yep. See, there's a hand.
thing?
Or a wrist, at least.
Now I remember.
Although that I'm
I
tilting
was
my hand like I
fascinated
could see
by the
further under
technology
it
employed.
to see
I
in
did
there.
Some tinkering. Some tinkering, I say, though it was quite a lot. But now it serves a decidedly more practical purpose.
You've got to be kidding me!
Well, do you know about a Cetra temple?
A temple, you say? If you mean a place where they worshipped gods, none exist. The Cetra never engaged in such practices.
I didn't know that.
Maybe it was referred to as such by someone ignorant of their culture. If instead it is a site of importance to the Cetra that you seek, texts do speak of one, and of the pains taken to conceal it.
So, it does exist?
Oh,
Don't make the M&M's joke.
perhaps, though I know not where it is.
Huh?
And even should you find it, I would urge caution. They were a star-crossed people. To follow in their footsteps is to court tragedy. However, the rewards may yet outweigh the risks. You must bring every one of your senses to bear. For then no secret will elude you, however well hidden. And when you return home, I hope you'll share your discoveries with me.
Fellow Bugenhagen!
What is it? I'm a little busy here.
Another man in a black robe has come. What should we do?
Well now,
Welcome to the
a
stick.
friend of yours?
Where'd you see him?
Oh, the village gate.
We should check it out.
Yeah.
Ah, I suppose I ought to seal the door once again. The workings of our planet are most fascinating, no?
Mm-hmm. I'm still wondering about your mystical hole in the ground that has access to the sky so deep underground.
Blessings of the planet be upon you. Are you in need of guidance?
Alright, quick trip to the entrance. And then we'll hop back over to Sid. And finish off the chapter.
Nanaki! Is this man okay? He is, albeit rather
So
weak.
this is
I'm not sure why though.
a regular black
Marco
robe,
poisoned
not
what
a
I see.
Sephiroth clone
This
black
isn't
robe.
it.
Possibly, because he doesn't have the number tattoo. So still being drawn, but
Ain't that?
I'm still not 100% certain how some of these groupings work as far as who got what done to them.
Of course! Nibelheim has a terminal. I'd bet my whiskers on it.
It, had a terminal.
Cloud, remember what you told Gi and Attack back there? That I might be weird, but you can trust me. Aye, well, even if you were lying, I'm gonna prove to you that you can trust me. That I'm on your side.
It's not that.
We should go.
Wait, you're talking about heading to Nibelheim from here? There's no roads you can take far as I know.
Maybe we can't go by land.
We go by the most obvious alternative in the world, since it's how we got here.
Airstrip we go.
I love how big a deal they make of this revelation. Like, wow, it took a genius to come up with a solution. Alright, let's see. I don't think there's anything else, anybody to talk to. Yeah, I think we're just gonna go finish off the chapter. There's a little bit here left in the canyon to talk about plot-wise. Really the one big thing, and I've mentioned it before, I don't remember where exactly, but I'm just going to mention it briefly now, is the Proto-Relic quest here. And specifically the first round of it, I think, is the most important. Because when you first start it, really, you get the flashback to find out what happened to Wedge. Wedge's fate is ultimately exactly what it was in the original. He falls from a very large, high distance and dies on impact. In OG7, it was falling from the pillar. In this one, he is ejected from the Shinra building by the Whispers, who are returning him to his original fate and death. So there's a certain, I don't want to say poetic justice to it, but just the way that the workings of fate seem to be working in this world. The other thing to mention about that scene, though, is when they're on the truck, that the two names are mentioned that are Matt and I'm blanking, but he'll remind us, that were Glenn's companions in his storyline, whatever the prequel game. And so they joined or helped start Avalanche, and the fact that they're mentioned, they are active Avalanche members, whatever Glenn's status is. Those two seem to be active Avalanche members, unless we find out later that they're also Sephiroth impersonations, but I don't think they're going to go that far. So, at least two of the three seem to still be alive for sure and active with Avalanche. We don't know what happened to them at the fall of Midgar, but at that point in the story, they were still up and running. So, it does lend some credence to the possibility that Glenn himself might have survived his actual incident with Rufus, the initial one that took place before Rebirth happened. When he shot him, killed him, but we don't know that for certain, because just because you shoot someone doesn't mean they die from it. And so I'm still not 100% convinced that the real Glenn Lodbrok isn't still active in Wutai, and that it's just the one that we see here that is the fake. In which case, the real one is still doing what he's supposed to be doing, and is still, working with the Wutai government, and is still going on with this war, and has no idea that an imposter has been setting things up with Rufus. I want to know what's going to happen in Part 3 when Rufus maybe meets the real one. Is like, "Ah, you're a fake," and the real one's like, what are you talking about? If that's the case, I'm very interested in what's going to happen. I still really want to know what's going on with Rufus and the whole Saruf thing, but we'll save any more discussions on that for later. So, on to the airstrip. And our final cutscenes for the chapter.
Not that you've got a choice, but thank you for choosing Bronco Airlines.
Sit, my friend. You couldn't give us a lift to Nibelheim, could you?
A little far, but not too far, I reckon. The old girl should be more than up to the challenge.
Alright. A little far. Not really. It's right there. We can see it. Pretty sure Kangaga to Cosmo is a longer trip than this is. Now, that would be to the west. And could be like that mountain right there. I can't see the map. Would that be the mountain in Wutai? It does have sort of a distinctive look to it. I don't think that's anything in this landscape, is it? Or maybe it is. Maybe, is that Mount Nebel? No, that's mine. That's because there's the reactor. Right? Yeah. Maybe that is Wutai over there. Alright, let's take a look at the map when we're done. Or we'll take a look at the map next time. So, this is going to close out the chapter 9 and 10 section of this story and spoiler walkthrough. Obviously, Nibelheim is going to be rife with plot and discussion and story and development and all sorts of fun stuff to talk about, so I'm really looking forward to talking about this chapter. There's not going to be a whole lot in chapter 12, because that's mostly side quests and cleanup and musclehead fights and stuff, so most of the next set of videos is going to be focused on all the fun that we're going to have in Nibelheim here. So, thank you for joining me so far. I gotta say, I'm really enjoying going back through these, and again, every time I watch someone play, or read about something that someone did, or even just play a little bit further, and going back through it again, I think of new things to mention, or talk about, or questions to ask that I don't have answers to yet, and all sorts of stuff. Like I said, that whole pure materia thing was something that just occurred to me within the last 24 hours, so I didn't have that in mind when I started this whole video series. It's stuff like that, because this game is so convoluted and in-depth, and I frickin' love it. So, hopefully if you're along for the ride with me on these things, you're enjoying this, and you have your own questions. Hopefully I'm giving you some answers, maybe, and hopefully you have some questions that I haven't thought of yet, and pose them in the chat, please. Let's get some comments going back and forth. Let's get some engagement. I want to hear what other people have to say about these areas and what's going on in the game, etc. So please continue to join me for this journey. Like, subscribe, follow me along with this, and hopefully we will continue having fun together. Thanks a lot. Hope everybody's having a great day.